So 121.291 has a lot of information about emergency evacuation procedures demonstrations. And this regulation is two-part. Part of it, 121.291A, that applies when a new airplane is created. That requires the evacuation test, basically a full-scale test with the airplane full of people, with flight attendants and crew members, and they have to evacuate the airplane with some exits disabled in 90 seconds or less. So this would be a plane full of people, everyone's evacuated in a darkened hangar. But that's not very common. What's more common is when we look at 121.299B and C, that has to do with the certificate holder adding a different type of airplane or adding flight attendants or changing the number of flight attendants. And in that case, the air carrier has to do what's called an evac demo, or evacuation demo. And it is different because you do not have the airplane full of passengers or pretend passengers and have them all jump on the slides. Instead, what you do is you select a random group of flight attendants and flight crew members. The airplane has to be in a darkened hangar. So here's a demonstration of the airplane setup in a hangar, ready for its evacuation demonstration to take place. And it has to be a certain level of darkness before the test can start. And then the FAA representatives are going to determine that secretly they're going to disable half of the exits on the airplane. And the way that I've seen this done in practice was we had red glow sticks that the FAA taped above certain exits, and they were on a string. And when the signal was given, certain inspectors pulled their strings loose and the little red glow sticks fell down in front of the windows of the exits, and that meant that those exits were now disabled. The flight attendants then had to quickly block and start directing the pretend passengers, because it was an empty airplane, to another exit. And the flight attendants where the exits were not disabled, they were required to open their exit and deploy the slide. The slides had to inflate within 15 seconds. This had to be accomplished. And the air carrier will fail this demonstration if their slides fail to inflate. So even if the flight attendants do exactly the right procedures, but there's a mechanical problem with the airplane, with the slide or something, then the air carrier does not pass the demonstration. And a whole nother set of random flight attendants and random pilots who have not been involved in the first demonstration have to be briefed and then put on board, and then the exits reset, the slides changed out, and everything can be tested again. So this often takes a couple tries to get. Sometimes the slides do not inflate properly, or something goes wrong with the test. But so this is what is more common for an air carrier to do. And so this is done whenever they have adding a new type of equipment, or for a new air carrier, or adding more seats perhaps, which requires more flight attendants to their airplane. That's when they would do this type of evacuation demonstration.